gave up a big touchdown early. And then I can't remember the sequence of events, but we ended up throwing an interception for a touchdown, and we gave them 14 points in the first half. The other part of that was the fact that we, early in the game, we were better later, but early in the game we were not good in the red zone. We stalled out on some drives down the red zone and had to kick field goals. We moved the ball all over the field is pretty evident as far as the yardage of us versus them. We were actually pretty good on third down, but we've got to be better in the red zone. We've got to be better. We can't give up an interception for a touchdown. I don't ever want to make any excuses, because I don't believe in excuses, and I don't believe in explanations. But you know, we're a beat up football team. We've got some guys hurt. Some guys didn't play tonight. So you know, one guy, you know, our running back, Shakir Bell, tried to play. He had a injured big toe and tried to play and just couldn't play. And then he had another injury that I don't think is very severe, but he was trying to play and couldn't play. You know, have some injuries at linebacker. Kendall Walker did not play. You know, we got to get some guys healthy. We got to get some guys back. The good news is we got our safeties. Two of our safeties played tonight, and that was good. But you know, we've got to refuse to lose. We cannot allow ourselves to go on anymore from like this. We've got a big game next week against South Dakota, at South Dakota, and we got to go there and win a football game, a conference game on the road. Questions?
Mike, it seemed like some of the bad things you were talking about, you know, even though statistically they don't necessarily show through, they were at inopportune times and in inopportune situations. You mentioned the red zone, but you know, some third down throws that were long and things of that nature. Is that among the frustrating things about this?
Very. You know, I think, you know, there were some bad things that happened on inopportune times. You know, and I have tremendous respect for the officials, so I'm never going to criticize. But there are just some weird things that happened today. You know, and you know, like for example, you know, one of our third down situations, we threw a check down. You know, Mike was scrambling and threw a check down to Buck Rogan, and the ball hit the umpire and bounced off him and turned out to be an interception. You know, I mean, there's just weird stuff like that.
Defensively, same thing. You know, the three touchdowns that Ruiz scored, you know, all of them were, you know, the minute he got through the defensive line, it was, you know, even in the close, you know, short yardage situation, it was pretty much, you know, clear and through. You know, just they also seem to be in that same boat today, where just inopportune times for inopportune mistakes or missed tackles and things of that nature. Is that, what did you see out of that?
Yeah, I would say that. You know, it's hard for me to tell. The only thing I saw is, I think, you know, we had some guys playing that haven't played much. You know, and I think our second level of defense, you know, some of that is us hitting it downhill, but our second level of defense, at times we were really good, you know, but at times our second level of defense was not as good as it needed to be.
How do you keep the team, you know, focused through this? I mean, it's, you know, losses obviously have a dampening effect. How does the team fight that?
We've got to find a way to come back. We've got to refuse to lose. We've got to come back from this. We've got to bounce back, and we've got to find a way to go win on the road. That's all it comes down to. We got to win. We got two games on the road coming up, but I don't want to talk about the second one, because we got a big one in South Dakota, and I have no idea what they did today, but I think both of us are in a very similar boat right now.
They won today, actually. You know, just as far as Shakir is concerned, you mentioned his toe. What was the other injury that he had?
He has a leg bruise, but I don't think that's going to be an issue.
You know, the day was just, it was just a long day with the weather delays and all that. How do you try to keep the team, you know, when you're sitting through an hour, you don't get an hour-long football delay very often. How do you, what do you do? I mean, what do you?
Well, one of the things, you know, the hard thing is in that is you're thinking it's going to be, you're going to be out in a half hour and then another lightning strikes and then it's another half hour because it has to be a half hour after the last lightning strike. And so, you know, what our deal was, once we knew we were coming out, we wanted to actually have we went through a warm-up and we tried to gather everybody together and I think if I remember right, we stopped them on the first drive that they had after the lightning delay. And then but we didn't get enough going on offense during that time period. And then and I went for it on fourth down and then they got the ball and scored again. You know, but I mean, we were fighting till the end. We were trying to find a way to win right to the end. And you know, that's what we're going to be and who we're going to be. You know, I mean, we're going to fight.
Chris O'Leary came back and played well, and Samson Livingston continues to score touchdowns for you. He had a bizarre say he had 3 touchdown catches for 2 catches because the lateral counts as a touchdown catch. But just his contributions all year long have been pretty solid.
Yeah, first of all, you talked about Chris O'Leary. Chris was great to have him back. Thought that he played well, and he got, I don't know what happened to him. He had an injury too. And I don't know the extent of that, but I thought he played very well. He's been out for a long time. It was good to get him back. We lost Hannah Riley in the game. I don't know for how long. Hopefully it's not real serious. You know, but you know, and then Samson Livingston. You know, I mean, I'm very impressed with him. Excited about him. He does a lot of good things. He's a very productive player. It's exciting because he's a freshman. True freshman from Indianapolis, from Cathedral High School in Indianapolis, and we're, you know, that's exciting, and he's got a very bright future here.
Was the nature of the way the day went, is it kind of one of those deals where you can kind of say, you know, this is it's a clean break till next week. This day was unusually, you know, even with the weather and some of the things you couldn't control, you know, bad. Is it something that you can make a clean break with, given that, you know, this isn't, you know, it's not going to be this way every week? I mean, is that kind of what you...
Well, I think the first thing is in any game, especially in a defeat, there's things you can learn from. And we've got to learn from this. We've got to grow from it. We've got to get better at the little things. That was something I told our team when I talked to them. We said after last week we needed to get better at the little things. And it's not good enough. I mean, you know, it's not. I mean, we've got to get better at the little things. And taking off on your question, we've got to have a clean break. Clean break. We've got to put this one behind us. We've got to find a way. We've got to learn from it. We've got to watch the tape. We've got to evaluate it, grade it, and we got to see. You know, we got to look at players and who played hard, who didn't do what they're supposed to do, and we've got to look at our decisions as coaches, and we got to look at, you know, everything and evaluate everything, and get better and grow from it.
Any other injuries besides Tanner Shakir? Those are the ones that I can pick up.
Lionel Brown had a concussion early, like it was like first or second quarter, and we had some guys. You know, I think it was probably obvious. Kendall Walker was a concussion. We thought he would be back. He was a concussion last week. We thought he would be back. The surprising one that came back, we had 3 concussions last week. As you know, we didn't know Saturday night, but as the whole thing developed, we had symptoms that showed up. Demery Lachey, obviously, on the hit. Kendall Walker, and then Alex Stowers. And that was another guy that didn't play tonight, Alex Stowers. He had a concussion, and hopefully we'll be able to get those guys back next week.
Those first 3 times in the red zone, I think kind of put us behind in the position that we were trying to fight back the whole game, and can't do that. Part of it was my fault. I missed a touchdown pass and then I threw that interception. And those are big plays that I need to take back. I was proud of our offense getting down there, and I think they did a good enough job to get more points than that. So I take a lot of the blame there. Our offensive line did a great job protecting to drive so well that we drove today. Receivers did a great job getting open. The backs ran hard. So I think as an offense as a whole, again, we had a very solid game. Just a few big mistakes hurt us, and we just need to figure out ways to eliminate that. We're going to do that this week in practice.
How frustrating is that? I mean, because you're right. I mean, the yardage, you look at the totals, and it's fine, but the times when you really needed it, it wasn't. How frustrating is that to go through that?
Yeah, it's frustrating. I know we outgained them. 2 turnovers again hurt us. I think we'll find out a lot, but turnover margin is a lot more important than the yards gained, and that's something we need to take care of as an offense. And me personally, I need to take care of that and do my best this week to do so.
You talk about your communication with the receivers right now, and like you said, I mean, there was times when it was there, and there was times when it was hard to tell whether the ball was being overthrown or the pattern wasn't right. I mean, can you talk about where that is right now?
I think it's very good. You're always going to have those few plays where it's overthrown in a tight coverage. You want to put it in place where only your receiver can get it. So there's a couple situations like that. I only remember one just play where me and the receiver on a different page. But besides that, I think me and the receivers are pretty much on the same page on everything.
You just talk about how the team moves forward, and this day was so, when you factor in the weather delay and all that stuff that you can't control, it was just a miserable day. And just talk about making a clean break and trying to put it together again next week for South Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, we just need to realize what our mistakes were, learn from it on film. We're going to watch it on Monday, and whatever mistakes those are, we need to eliminate them. And I think we've shown we have a lot of potential by just eliminating those few small mistakes that we can come back and beat a lot of these teams. So I think a little bit has to, we need to raise our expectations. So if we fall slightly short, we're still winning games. But besides that, just eliminate those small mistakes, and I think we'll be a very successful team. We got a lot of confidence in my team.
You don't normally have to deal with an hour-long, weather delay in football. How did you deal with that? I mean, how do you try to stay sharp?
Yeah, I mean, you just need to relax when you're told to relax, and then get warm again and be ready to go. It's just something that both teams had to deal with it. So, I mean, we just need to come out, and when something adverse happens, you just need to see how you take it. And happens in a game, happens with weather situation. You just need to be able to overcome something like that.
Buck, similar question I had, I think, before you came in, but the offense moved the ball, but it was tough, in key situations in the red zone, early in the game in particular. Just talk about, the frustration with that. Obviously, that has to be frustrating.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but we just failed to execute our duties that we were supposed to do, and we just got to work harder each and every day in practice and take the red zone as we call the money zone, and that we have to get the ball in the end zone every time we get in the red zone. So, and we take pride in that. So we just have to get better, because we was doing everything right. We pushed the ball all the way downfield on many of occasions, many drives. So we just got to finish.